I'm Gloria Strode and welcome to Straightforward. Today we're going to have an awesome visit with our new chair of the Muscogee County School Board and our vice chair, Kia Chambers and Mark Cantrell, the awesome dream team. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, both of you have done so much for the community long before you offered yourself up for public service. I want you to share with our audience because, believe it or not, we have people in the city that don't know Kia and don't know Mark. Can you believe that? And Mark's family has been around in business for a very long time, and Mark's been working in the community for a long time. But share with our audience, Kia, what you were doing before you went full-time into real estate. You had another life.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, before real estate, I was a classroom teacher. I worked for the Muscogee County School District as a teacher, as an academic coach, as a curriculum specialist. So in many facets, I've always worked with kids and for the district. I have a special place in my heart for Muscogee County.
And so your first job out of the Albany State University,
Yes.
because we train the best and the brightest,
Yes.
what was your first job here in Muskogee? Where were you
My
first
first-
teaching job?
At Hannon Academy.
Hanna
Yes.
Academy. And
Yes.
so that is near the hospital.
Yes.
Yes, so that wasn't one of the, it was it a magnet or
Well,
gifted or
yes,
something?
it was a gifted magnet, but I didn't start there.
Okay.
When I first obtained my teaching certificate, I worked with the kids that lived in Peabody Apartments. That's the housing projects that used to be near the medical center. And so I had a group of at-risk kids, or what people consider to be at-risk kids. But my philosophy is that all children can learn and will learn, just given the right environment and the tools to be successful. And of course, somebody who believes in them. So my kids did an excellent job, and I learned a lot from them.
Okay. And so, Mark, long before you threw your hat in the ring for public service, you were serving children and families in a very important way.
Well, thank you, Gloria. I'm real proud of the past here in Columbus, Georgia. We started with St. Jude Children's Hospital in 1981, raising money for the children at St. Jude, Memphis. And over the years, which was around 25, 26 years, I was the director and the host for the St. Jude Radiothon. And then around, this is 2017, I guess around 2010, we started the St. Jude Dream Home, which was the first dream home ever built in the southeastern part of America.
Really?
And we built 12 dream homes. Between the Radiothon and the dream homes, we raised $10.5 million
$10.5 million.
Absolutely.
And this is for children that they were sick.
That's right.
And so you all were helping their parents to be able to get care for them at no charge.
When a child goes to St. Jude Hospital, 100% of all their bills are paid. They even house the parents, transportation, food, everything. And that's a wonderful thing about St. Jude Hospital. And Columbus really gave for so many years, and still does also. I mean, people became partners in hope. Besides St. Jude Hospital, for 23 years, I was the director of the Shrine Circus here in Columbus, Georgia.
I know, and we always look so forward to those tickets and, you know, just generations of children, you know, to just take them to the circus because many of them never saw, say, an elephant.
That's
or,
right.
You know, all of that was just wonderful exposure. And so how many years did you do that?
I did it for 23 years.
23 years.
And, you know, what I call lifetimes, really, you
Yes.
know, not a 2 or 3, but really a lifetime devoted to helping children. And that's really when I decided to run for the school board 7 years ago, is that, you know, I'd been helping children ever since I was 29 years old, really,
Right.
my whole life. And I thought, what would be a better thing to do? Because I've been extremely successful on raising money and helping kids across America, to Shriners, for the Shriner Hospitals for burned and crippled children, and for St. Jude for children with cancer. And I said, you know, I think I'll need to run for the school board because that way I can help our local children in the best ways. And it's a pure heart, too, as far as going out there and doing the best for these kids, and not for a personal reason, but whatever we can do to make our schools better and make the education of these kids, because they have got to have it. I mean, that's
it's
what's
changing lives.
It is.
And because of both of you, your life's work before you became elected officials, you want all children
That's right.
to have the best opportunity.
Absolutely.
All children to be successful. I mean, it started with you with health, making sure they could get the best health care, You started in a classroom with children that came from public housing.
Absolutely.
So your heart is there.
That's
This is
right.
not some personal resume
Right.
thing you want to just add to your resume. It's really about the mission. It's a calling.
Right.
That's right.
And you
That's
really
right.
have to have that heart, you know, to serve.
Passion.
Because we know you will not get rich doing it.
No, that's
We know you have a lot of sleepless nights doing it. But you really need people like you and Kia at the table that will be a voice for those
Absolutely.
children who their families might not be in the mix, is what I like to say. You know, a lot of them are just hardworking families. Some are working 2 jobs. We have a lot of single parents, and they're just trying to provide the basics. You know,
Absolutely.
and so they need people at the table like you and Mark. But we're excited. We
Absolutely.
have the dream team, and of course, you know, we value all of the people on the school board.
Absolutely.
But sometimes we need fresh eyes.
Right.
That's not to say that anyone is good or bad or someone's better than the other.
Right.
But with anything, even at church, sometimes we just need to have somebody else to take the lead because they might have a fresher perspective and some new ideas.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
so we just congratulate this
Thank
dream
you.
team because I know you all have some great ideas. But before we get into that, I want us to take our break, go to our sponsors, and come right back because I want us to be able to chat about it. Okay?
Sounds
Sounds
good.
All
good.
right.
Thank
we'll
you.
be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy introduces Excellence Redefined, timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates, LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you. Stark Avenue, Columbus, Bradley Park, Columbus, Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange, East Burkhalter Avenue, Buena Vista, and Springs Street in Warm Springs. The Framing Factory and Art Gallery, specializing in quality art and framing for all your needs. Original etchings, limited editions, and prints. Call Carlton Dickey today at 706-324-3823 or visit the Art Gallery at 1325 17th Street in Columbus.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Adopting from your shelter makes sense. You get a great friend checked by our vet. They're fixed, all shots, microchipped, all ready to make you and your family's life better. 4900 Milton Road, Columbus. Paws Humane.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with the dream team, Kia Chambers and Mark Cantrell. I'm very excited. I know that you all have been working hard, not just in the community, but on the board as well. It's a major sacrifice. Kia, you have full-time business,
Absolutely.
real estate broker.
Yes.
So you keep all kinds of crazy hours.
Yes.
Mark, your family has been in business here. I had you on the show a couple years ago.
Right.
How many years?
This will be our 40th year with Action Buildings.
Action Buildings.
So,
And you all actually manufacture those here?
We do. We manufacture every building, employ close to 100 employees here in Columbus, and we got 10 locations altogether. And so it's been my dad and myself founded the company back in 1978, 79, and started on Buena Vista Road in Columbus.
Yes.
And, one store, and it's been a real successful run and a great family business, let's put that away. My brothers and my son and a lot of the family, we're still together. And,
Yeah.
and my dad passed away a year ago, but a lot of times you wonder if your
That
father.
legacy.
That's right.
Right.
But we've kept it going, and in business is very good now. And I think we learned a lot of stuff from my father. Working with your family. I always told my dad, working in the family business has been one of the best blessings I've ever had because I've always got to work with my family, my dad and my mom and my brothers my whole life.
Right.
And that means a whole lot right there when
Right.
when you're a close family.
Right.
And in business, in family, it has some moments. It always does.
Kia knows that because she and her husband both are brokers at the
That's right.
Prestige Properties.
But you get, I can only think of one major argument my dad and myself had in 39 years together. That just means you had a good team.
Exactly.
And
that means you don't have to agree on everything.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You can have a difference of opinion and you can disagree and not be disagreeable.
That's right.
And that's the thing we have to learn. I always tell people, you don't always agree with your family. Some
that's
days
right.
we're having a challenge on what we're going to eat.
Yeah.
Because somebody might want Mexican and I might want to have seafood, and you got to have, negotiate. So
Right.
maybe today we'll have Mexican, tomorrow we'll have seafood, but we don't have to lose friendship about it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, but that lesson you learned with that disagreement with your dad, you all had a difference of an opinion. You were able to learn from it and move forward.
It is. The next day it was totally different, and sometimes I think it's good to have disagreements.
Yes.
Because you can get the real feeling from each other of something that you just, like I say, you don't agree on.
Exactly.
And so it is a learning experience, and it was too. I still remember like it was yesterday. Of course, when your father is your boss, you know who the boss is.
I know, right? So then you have to kind of balance, if you're the manager or the son. Yeah,
That's
you got to
right.
make sure you find that happy balance.
Right.
And of course, Kia, you and Travis, you all are
Absolutely.
brokers at Prestige Properties, and of course, both Albany State,
Absolutely.
graduates of the Albany State University.
Golden Rings.
So you all have strong personalities and opinions.
Absolutely, but we're like the yin and the yang. We sort of complement each other. I know what my strong suit is, and he knows what his strong suit is. I am the detail person, so it sort of works.
Right.
Sort of works with us, and he's the overall visionary, so we work together very well. And like Mark said, sometimes it is difficult working with family.
You have to go in your office and
but
close your
everybody
door.
stays
and say,
in their
"Do not-"
lane.
Right, do
Right.
not disturb. We're not
Absolutely.
friends right now.
Absolutely,
Right.
but there is a part of it that makes you just feel like this is what I was meant to do when you're working with a family and trying to build a legacy for your kids and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really enjoyed that time, yes.
So the thing that I can say that you both have in common is that you are from two business families.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important when we are doing business for the citizens.
Absolutely.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, you really have to understand that accountability, transparency, all that's very important, because I'm
Absolutely.
sure, Mark, you could not go and write $1 million check and buy all those collectible cars you like. See, I follow you, so I know that,
Right.
and not speak to the other family members about it.
Oh, no, that's right.
See, so you just can't do that. Or Kia could not go and get me that condo she was supposed to get me in the Bahamas for Christmas and not confer, with Travis on that.
Absolutely.
And so when we all know these things and we have these life lessons, we really have to take them into where we're serving the community.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if I can't spend money out of my household checkbook without conferring, with the other family members, then we shouldn't expect to be doing that if we're serving the public.
Absolutely.
Right.
One of the learning things, I have a fleet of trucks. We normally run around 20, 25 trucks per day. And this goes back to even like knowing about school buses. When you have drivers and you have trucks, you have breakdowns and you have things that come up. You have accidents that come up. You hate to say it, and you don't want any of these, but that's part of it. We run a fleet of almost 300 school buses in Columbus, Georgia every day. They pick up over 17,000 children a day. Every year we try and buy brand new school buses to keep the fleet going, but that don't mean that you're not going to have problems out there every day. They're going to be running behind, because everybody knows you get running behind on morning traffic sometimes. And so, a lot of times I say give the school bus, the drivers a break, because they're driving a 10-ton vehicle down the road and they're trying to get these kids to school. And so and now school drivers have got to have CDO license. That has made it even a step harder. It's like to be a CDO driver, it's like driving a tractor trailer.
Oh, really?
And so now all drivers have got to have that. So it's not so much saying, well, I'm just going to hire you, Gloria, to get behind the wheel and teach you how to drive a bus. First of all, you've got to get your CDL license, which is a major step, and that's one of the reasons why, and I say this for this time, is that if somebody out there would like to be a school bus driver, you think you have the needs and the time, we would welcome you to go to the school district and apply, and they'll train you for your CDL license also. Yes, ma'am. They've got the test run and everything, so that's something very important, and we're always needing school bus drivers, because when you run 300 buses a day, morning and evening, it's always
And then
turnover.
like with this flu, people are out sick.
Yes, ma'am, that's
So
right.
we need the backup, you know.
That's exactly
you
right.
need to have alternates, you need to have a pool, just like for the classrooms you have with subs. And you're absolutely right. You know, if our own cars, by wear and tear, it's cold, you go out to the garage and crank the car up or try and the battery died because it had a bad cell in it. I mean, those same things happen with that big fleet that you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am, that's exactly right.
And you're right about the traffic, especially if you are the bus driver and you have to go through the spider web. And if the train has been there or something has happened, you might as well just
sit back and relax.
and meditate, because it's going to be a while. Well, that has nothing to do with the bus driver. That's something that's out of their control.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad that you shared that they can apply and that there is training.
Totally, yes,
available.
And it's free.
Yes, ma'am.
The training is free.
Yes.
So the district, they just come to the Muscogee County School District, the personnel,
That's correct.
HR department, and they can get the CDL training for free if they meet all of the other requirements.
That's exactly right.
Right, because you have to have all of that, the background checks and all of
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
That is required to work with children.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and we are in need. So for people that's looking for a job,
it's a good job.
it's a good job. It's consistent, you know, and then they can, just with the holidays, you get those off, and you know, people look for those kinds of jobs where you're going to have the holidays off, because some jobs, if you're working in a hospital, nursing home, personal care home, you don't get those off. Those are no days off. Right.
And our bus drivers are very important because they are carrying precious cargo.
Yes, they
trying
are.
to get them to school each and every day, and they are part of the Muscogee County School District family. So we are looking to expand that family, and we do need bus drivers, and we just want to let all the bus drivers know that we feel that they are very important.
Yeah, absolutely. They are valued because they're the people that make sure that the children get to and from where they need to be while parents are getting to and from work.
Absolutely, and they're often the first face they see once they leave home. They're going to see that bus driver, and so that interaction sort of sets in place what type of day they're going to have.
That's the
So
beginning.
they are critical to making sure that we teach the whole child. And it starts right there with the school bus driver.
And the bus driver has an important role. How about that?
Important role.
I like that.
Absolutely. We value all our employees.
Yeah, but no, that's the first phase. I just never thought about that. Absolutely. Well, what we're going to do is go to our break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Great.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. The Hugel Foundation, enriching the community through Christian music support, community outreach, and the Georgia Through Photography Project. For more information, call B at 706-568-6431. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road. Trusted by generations. Best Care, transforming minds and bodies, leading the way in the latest techniques of medical weight loss and wellness. Certified in family medicine and bariatrics, Dr. Blunt is ready to assist in the transformation of your mind and body. Call today, 706-221-6477, or visit bestcarecolumbus.com. East Alabama Endocrinology, educating and caring for those living with diabetes in Alabama and Georgia. 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard, 3320 Skyway Drive, Suite 602, Opelika. Take charge of diabetes and live your best life. Kia Chambers School Board at Large, the Gold Star Program. Paving the path to success through academic achievement, student empowerment, leadership development, and citizenship, encouraging all students to reach for the stars. And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with Kia Chambers, our new chairman of the Muscogee County School Board, and our awesome vice chair, Mark Cantrell.
Thank
the
you.
dream team here today with me on Straightforward. Thank you all so much for coming. I know that you all have had some great successes.
Absolutely.
I know you have a vision for going forward just because of your life's work, you want the best for all children.
Absolutely.
But we've had some things that got taken care of last year, and it made it better for the kids.
Absolutely.
And one of them was that lunch program.
Okay. So I think Mark can attest to this also. We did have an issue come up where you know, the citizens were concerned about the lunch program, where kids who did not have their lunch money or did not have money in their lunch account, those lunches were being discarded as the children came through the line.
So they didn't get to eat. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
All right.
So if they didn't have lunch in their account,
The
they
money
were
in
not
their
able.
account,
That's
right.
right. They were
Okay.
not able to charge. The high school kids couldn't charge. So in some cases, they were going a whole day and they were still hungry. They
Didn't
haven't
have a meal.
eaten.
And so you can't learn if you're hungry.
Absolutely, and I think one of the important roles of a school board member is to be an advocate for our school system and also an advocate for our kids. And that was a situation where all of us as a board could work together and ensure that no child goes hungry, that they are given the best opportunity to reach their highest potential, and a lot of times that starts with not having an empty stomach.
Yes.
So what we were able to do, I know several of the board members were able to give into that lunch program.
Of your personal money?
Absolutely.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And that touched my heart. I got a call from a gentleman who was 60-something years old, and he said, Ms. Chambers, I remember being 6 years old and going through the lunch line and having my lunch taken from me, and that embarrassment, it still haunts me today.
Right.
And so that touched my heart. That was just one of the stories, but once this came up as an issue on the agenda, we heard it over and over again. So this is something that was long-term. It's been on the books for a long time. We had just not looked into it and changed the policy. So I know I personally gave $1,000 towards the program so that we could get those children's lunch accounts out of the deficit. But I didn't stop there. I also wanted to make sure we could eradicate that. So I sent out some letters to the public because the community wanted to help as well.
Exactly.
So people in Columbus are very benevolent. So we were able to get those accounts out of the negative so that those kids could go ahead and eat lunch and not go hungry. But we also were able to work as a board and change the policy so that is not an issue for the
anymore.
children.
So you
absolutely.
all had never just surfaced that big before.
Right,
That's
absolutely.
Right, and so once it did, you all addressed
Immediately.
it immediately.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then social media, people were on social media, and if people wanted to give and that kind of
Absolutely.
thing, because you never want to embarrass a child.
No,
Because
at
they
all.
come from different walks of life,
Right.
and they face so many issues. You know,
Absolutely.
they live in a different world than our
That's right.
world.
That's
It's
right.
a different world.
And I want to say that a lot of that came down. We get a lot of mandates that come down from the federal and state government, and that was one of those mandates where they said you cannot operate in a deficit. So what happens? We can't operate in a deficit.
Right.
So we just had to work together and collaborate and come up with a plan so that we can stay within the confines of the mandate,
Right.
but also service our kids and give them the greatest opportunity to be successful. So
Right.
that's what we did.
That was very important. Well, you got this fabulous new performing arts school, and the beautiful new Spencer.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, you all have really worked, and a lot of community involvement and conversations and things like that. So the performing arts, we went through this name thing.
Oh, yes. I'll let Mark talk about that because he was instrumental
Right.
in the naming of that particular
Right.
school. So
And
Mark,
I
if you-
applaud you for that. I was one of
Well,
your
thank you.
biggest cheerleaders. I think you had a lot of foresight with that. And then it was something that also honored some of the very rich history we
That's
have
right.
here. Right.
Columbus.
You know, it was coming up, the name to school, and I thought for many months, just like the first school, that I was able to come up with a suggestion, and that's really what you do. You come up with a suggestion for the board, and the board really approves it or not. And the first school was Aaron Cone Middle School, and I was looking for a Columbus hero to name Aaron Cone. Now, if somebody was just, you know, Aaron Cone was born here.
Yes.
He died here on the 4th of July. And when you looked at his rich history of what he achieved in his lifetime,
Yes.
it was just an unbelievable. You know, he was the longest serving juvenile judge in America.
Yes.
And I thought,
And
Aaron
he
Cone,
loved children.
He did.
Absolutely.
And he
Absolutely.
believed in giving them second and third chances. Now, he had rules, but
That's right.
he loved them. He wanted them to be successful. So, I mean, you were just really on it with that.
And then we got to Rainey McCullers. I thought for a long time, it says, you know, this is School of the Arts. This is an art school. It needs something that represents Columbus, Georgia, that people can go back and not just name it after somebody like a hero, but somebody artsy that had the
Yes.
arts in their blood. And when I researched and really looked at all the people, Ma Rainey, she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's in the
Yes.
Blues Hall of Fame. Several years ago, the United States Postal Office put a Ma Rainey stamp out.
Stamp, yes.
And nobody in Columbus, Georgia has ever had a stamp or in the Hall of Fames like Ma Rainey was. And then she's got her own museum downtown. And I thought, you know, Ma Rainey would represent the arts so well. And then on the other hand, Carson McCullers. I remember when I was a junior in high school, one of the books we read was The Heart of Lonely Hunter.
Yes.
And they made the big motion picture, was an Academy Award from that book in 1967. And it was all because of Carson McCullers' life and the books she wrote. And I said, you know, naming a school Rainey McCullers, and it also was put together, I think was the correct way because it's a flowing name.
Yes.
McCullers
Easy.
Rainey. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
right.
And I thought this would be just a wonderful vision for Columbus, Georgia, the history of two wonderful ladies that represent us on not the local or even the state, but on the national scale, international scale.
Yes.
And thank goodness the board saw my thoughts and my dreams, and I had enough of them to come in, and we named it Rainey McCullers School of the Arts, and I'm very proud of
and
that.
I am very proud of you for that, because you are absolutely right. Whatever the positive things that Columbus can be known for worldwide,
That's right.
then we need to applaud those things, because a lot of people know us by Fort Benning.
That's
if
right.
they are military people, they've been through here at one point. But for that, Ma Rainey, McCullers, I mean, that was just really spot on. We couldn't have
thank you, ma'am.
selected a better. So we're almost out of time, but I'm excited that this team is together. I know that you all have a positive vision going forward for the children and working with all of the board members and the community. And my advice to you, which you didn't ask, but since you're here, is always hear from the citizens.
Yes, ma'am.
And you all have done that with the naming of the schools, working with the lunch program, and then some of the other things that have come up in the school system. So if you listen to the people, as Ed Harbison would say, that sent you, then you can't go wrong.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So I just want to thank you all for your hard work, what you were doing before you became elected
Absolutely.
officials, and what you're doing now. And just know I'll be behind you cheering 100%.
Thank you so much.
Keep up your good
Appreciate
work.
it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you.
This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.